anybody finding missing angles in a right triangle? So we found missing sides last class. Today we are finding missing angles. Okay, so could we use Pythagorean theorem to find an angle?
Yes. Oh no, because that's theta.
So here's Pythagorean theorem: a squared plus b squared is c squared. Does that have anything to do with sides?
Yes.
External angles? No. So this doesn't tell us what the angles are. All we know is we can use it with a right triangle.
I'm going to know that 1 times 90 automatically knows. Oh, you got to raise your hand.
Okay, so if we want to know what this angle is, we're going to put a person there. And then we're going to use the sides that are given. So this group here, what is 4 in relationship to theta? The adjacent, opposite, or hypotenuse?
I'd say that's adjacent.
Okay, good. And then what about the 7?
That is hypotenuse.
That's right. So using SOHCAHTOA, which trig function would you use since you have adjacent and hypotenuse?
You use
cosine.
Cosine.
Yes. So it's cosine of theta, which is adjacent over hypotenuse.
Is that like a symbol on like?
So adjacent is 4. The hypotenuse is 7. So to get to that theta, what we have to do is we have to take the cosine inverse of both sides, because what we want to do is we want to undo that cosine. Okay, so the cosine inverse undoes the cosine, and then we can find theta. So on your calculator, how do you do that? How do you do that inverse? So I'm going to tell you how to do it on the blue 30xis. And that would be to do second, and then a cosine, and then do the 4 over 7.
I don't know.
Please help each other with your other calculators, or even with that one. My calculator, I have to put parentheses around 4 over 7.
You know what Star Wars?
So we are rounding it to the nearest 10. We have a calculator right now.
Why he goes back to look at an helping tool to use the anger to power him. So he can flash and white paper. That's Jedi, bro. I have some Jedi.
No, it's because you're
So rounded to the nearest 10th, what would it be? 55.2 degrees. It is degrees. There are other measures of angles. You are only familiar with degrees. There are other measures of angles such as radians. If you do not put degrees there, it means it's radians. So make sure you put degrees there. You will, if you're going on to pre-calculus next year or some other higher course, you'll need to be putting those measures there because you will be using radians also in that class. Okay, so problem number 2. Here's our person.
We already know that the
So I'm going to call on a group. Let's call on Dana, your group. What is 6 in relationship to theta? Good. What about the 15.3? Good. So somebody else in the group, which trig function uses opposite and hypotenuse? Good. So we are going to find the sine of theta equals the opposite over the hypotenuse. So the opposite would be 6, and hypotenuse would be 15.3.
Right now, what I was getting
This is not a degree. I use that circle.
Sine inverse, that's right. So we're going to take the sine inverse of both sides. Distance. Okay, rounded to the nearest tenth, that would be here. What would the angle be? Nearest tenth. So what if you need to get another one?
Oh.
23.11. Thank you, those of you who are sitting quietly. So it's 23.1 what? Degrees. We want to put our degree symbol there on that. Okay, I'll do one more and then I'll have you do one. So, Cohen, your group here. I'm going to put my person right here. What is the 12 in relationship to the theta? Cohen's group? Good. And then what about the 8.4? The opposite. So somebody else besides Zuzi, which trig function will we use? Good. So tan theta equals opposite over adjacent, which is 8.4 over 12. And then anybody, what do we do next to find theta? Taking tan inverse, yes. So this tan inverse, it looks like it's an exponent. It's not. It's just a notation. So we are taking the tangent inverse of both sides. So to the nearest 10. So what do we get for our answer? 35 degrees. So we get 34.99, which gives us 35 degrees. Okay, go ahead and do number 4 as a U try.
Ooh. Why did you?
For number 6? For number 4. Oh, sorry.
Hey, don't. Hey, don't.
Go ahead and do that on your paper.
Don't. So is it going to be
He's a dude in the bottom, bro. See that dude? That's the only thing that matters. Is that little dude. Little buddy. Oh, Dylan got his license, bro. Bro? We don't want you to find out. Then that drove home. You did it wrong.
I feel like if I'm not.
Round, right?
No, I would do that now. It was yeah, why?
You should get 70.7 degrees there. Questions on that before we do the last two?
Now let's do it.
Last two are a little different. Let's be quiet. On the first four, we found just an angle. So on 5 and 6, we're going to solve the whole triangle. So we're going to find all the angles and all the sides. So the sides that are already given for us, we don't have to find them. We're just going to list everything. So measure of angle B is 28 degrees. We want to find the measure of angle A. What's the measure of angle C? 90, because it's the right angle. So hold on, please raise your hand. So we are going to find side AB, which this program, what they do is it is across from angle C. So they call it little c. So on your answer key, it will be little c. And then side AC is 9.1. And then we're going to find BC, which is across from a side A, little a. So the easiest part of this is finding angle A. Can I get a hand, please, for how we can find angle A? You said.
So a triangle equals 180 degrees.
What is it? Yes, what in a triangle is 180?
The angles.
That's right,
So
all
as
of
a result,
them. Right.
with the given angles 98, 28, if you add those and then subtract the sum of that 180 degrees, you should end up with about 62 and the measurement of angle.
Yeah, so if you take 180 minus the sum of these two, then it's equal to, what do we find? 62. So it's 62 degrees. Okay, so how might we find side AB? Say we want to find this side here. We'll call it little c. How might we find that side?
We don't want to use.
So let's say we use the 28 degrees. So what is 9.1 in relationship to the 28? Opposite. What is the C? Hypotenuse. So this group here, rest in your group, what function will we use? And we have opposite and hypotenuse.
That's sine.
Sine. Okay, so we're going to say sine of 28 equals the opposite, 9.1, over the hypotenuse, which is C.
How do we do that?
So this group again, like your group again, what do you do next to solve for?
I got to multiply C on both sides.
That's right, we got to get that C out of the denominator. So we got to multiply both sides by C. Because you have to get the C out of the denominator.
I don't like that one at all.
I know, it's a... So C times sine 28 equals 9.1, and then what would we do next? Same group.
Divide by sine 28.
Yep, divide by sine 28.
We're going to get 9.1 divided by sin 28.
Pronounce sine. That happens a lot.
We're going to get sin 19.4.
So side C is 19.4. So we want to find side A.
We're not done yet, are we?
Okay,
Now we use Pythagorean.
So there's two ways we can find the third side. Actually, more than two ways. Pythagorean theorem if we want, or we could use another trig function. So let's go ahead and use Pythagorean theorem since we have two of them. 9.1 squared we want to find it's 19.4 squared equals c squared.
That's not 17.1. I was off the
This got solid.
Did I put that?
19.4 is the hypotenuse. Or C.
Not the.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. So we already have C, so we need to find AC, which is letter B. So Tristan, just wait till I'm done. I'm almost done, honey.
Okay.
So we subtract 82.81. And so what do we do to find B?
Square root both sides.
Square root.
I said square root.
We get about 17.1. And then we've solved our triangle. So yes, this one takes a lot. There's a lot of steps because there's a lot of parts to it. So I'm just going to start the very last one, number 6. So say we have this triangle. We cannot use the 180 minus right away because we only know one angle. So let's say we wanted to find this angle here. How could we find that angle? Yeah, so we're going to use the side 16 and 6. So what would we do? So what are 16 and 6? This group back here, Kate, in your group. What are 16 and 6 in relationship to theta? What is 6? Opposite, adjacent, or hypotenuse? Adjacent. And what about 16? Hypotenuse. So which trig function would that be? Cosine. So we're going to find the cosine of theta is the adjacent. Let me put it over here. Adjacent over hypotenuse. Boy, that was sloppy. A, B, J, that's better. Adjacent. Tristan. So what do we do next? Anybody, what would we do next to find out what theta is? Take the inverse. Which inverse? Cosine inverse. So we're going to take the cosine inverse of both sides. And we get 68 degrees. Measure of angle A is 68 degrees. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. I just wanted to start with that one part. We'd have to finish doing all of them.
Would it be angle A 60?